Hi. Uh,
Hello, good evening, Krishna Prasad. This is Varshini. I am your interviewer. How are
yeah.
you doing
Hi.
today?
Yeah. Hi, Varshini. So doing great. So what about you?
Yeah, I'm also doing great. Shall we start?
Yes, please.
Could you please introduce yourself and go through the recent project which you have worked?
Okay. Thank you for having me today. My name is Krishna Prasad. I am currently working as a senior big data engineer at Diana Infotech Technologies. So, and I have over 5 years of experience in the field of big data. So, throughout my career, I have developed a strong expertise in data processing frameworks such as Hadoop, Spark, so as well as with the data warehousing solutions like Hive and Redshift. And I am proficient in programming languages such as Python and Scala. And I have extensive experience in designing and implementing ETL pipelines. So so finally, the technologies that I have worked so far is like big data, PySpark, Python, and SQL, and I used Cloudera distribution as well. So when I worked with Hadoop technology. So recent project which I have worked is like Molina Healthcare. It is a healthcare domain. So coming to the project explanation, so in my previous role, I worked on a project to improve patient data analysis for large healthcare provider. So the objective was to create robust data pipeline for batch processing of healthcare records that was stored in Oracle. So, so basically, I am a big data engineer here. My responsibility here is to design data architecture, developing ETL process, and ensuring seamless integration with the Cloudera distribution platform. And I also coordinated with the data analysts and healthcare professionals to understand the data requirements and reporting needs. So here we have used Oracle as our primary data source and the Cloudera distribution for Hadoop and related tools. So Python for scripting and SQL for database querying. And we used the PySpark for data processing. So when we face huge data sets, we use PySpark here. So these technologies were chosen actually for scalability, compatibility with existing infrastructure. So so this is about end-to-end projects actually. So the data that we generate in target location, so reports will be generated.
Okay. Okay, in your recent project, what is the recent and major challenge that you have faced?
Recent challenges that I have faced is one of the main challenge was like handling the large volume of data. So and ensuring timely processing within the batch window. So to address this, we have optimized our PySpark jobs by tuning Spark configurations as well as parallelizing the tasks which we have. So due to that, we have improved a lot. So earlier jobs was taking around 12 hours. After we have tuning that configuration and parallelizing the tasks, so it was reduced to 3 hours actually. We have saved a lot of time so uh, by optimizing the queries and tasks and configurations. So we have faced another challenge as well, like another challenge was like ensuring data quality, which was managed by implementing validation checks and error handling mechanisms in our ETL process. So we have automated everything actually. So instead of doing manually.
Okay. What is the orchestration tool you used in your project?
When I have worked with a big data technology, I used Woozy as an orchestration tool. So there we have created workflows. So we can run the jobs sequentially or parallelly. So based on our need. So on schedule basis also we can run it.
Okay. How do you process the data? Data will be processed on a scheduler basis or you guys run the manually?
So if it is in development, usually we execute them and we run it. So if it is in production, we have scheduled the jobs, daily basis it run. So today we process yesterday's data. So actually we do receive batch data daily basis. Daily basis on schedule time we run it.
Okay. How much data size you receive daily basis?
Daily basis, we get around 40 GB data. So those are in JSON format. So a few of the data is coming from files, few of the data is coming from Oracle database.
So, okay. Uh, are you good in Spark Scala or PySpark, Krishna Prasad?
I have experience in both. Previous projects I used the Spark Scala, but recent project I used PySpark. So if we, for interview perspective, better we can go with PySpark instead of Spark Scala.
Okay. PySpark, okay. What is the difference between a Spark context and Spark session?
Spark context and Spark session, right? So coming to Spark context, prior to Spark 2.0, Spark context was entry point for all Spark jobs. So for each other API, different context was required here. So for SQL context was required. For streaming context was required. For Hive context was required. But in Spark session, so actually it was introduced on Spark 2.0 onwards. So Spark session is entry point of all Spark job. Nowadays everyone uses Spark session only. So Spark session is the combination of different contexts like SQL context, Hive context, streaming context. So that means all APIs are available in Spark session. So that is the major difference between Spark context and Spark session. So nowadays everyone uses only Spark session instead of Spark context.
Okay. When we submit Spark job using a Spark submit command, what will happen internally?
When we submit Spark submit command, it will go to driver first. So whenever we submit Spark job, so driver will create JVM for the script which is submitted using Spark submit command, and driver will create Spark session here. After creating Spark session, so driver will request you to resource manager. So resource manager usually our case resource manager is a yarn. So yarn will communicate with application master. So it will provide the actually resource manager will provide the resources depending upon the data size. So next application master will get required resources from resource manager, and it will start the executors in each worker nodes. So worker nodes are like slave nodes. Worker node consists of executors and tasks. So executes the tasks assigned by the cluster manager. So each worker node contains number of executors, and executor contains number of tasks. Each task is having chunk of data. Chunk of data is processed in each task.
Okay.
So that data will be processed parallelly due to this approach whenever we submit Spark submit command.
Okay. Okay. What is difference between repartition and coalesce? When do we choose them?
Repartition. So default partitions are created based on the source file. So, but if you want to increase or decrease uh, by using repartition, we can increase or decrease the number of partitions. Uh, if we choose coalesce, by using coalesce, we can decrease the number of partitions. Coalesce does not have capability to increase the number of partitions. So here, if you want to increase the number of partitions, we prefer repartition. If I want to decrease the number of partitions, I prefer coalesce. The reason is decreasing time, coalesce will give better performance compared to repartition.
Okay. What are the performance techniques we have in PySpark?
Performance techniques means so one of the technique is repartition and coalesce. So just I have explained why we use them. Both two are used to improve the performance. So there is a scenario when we join a small data frame and big data frame. Here we use broadcast join. So when we use broadcast join on small tables, it will reduce shuffling because small data copy will be available in each node. So while joining with big data frame, it will reduce the shuffling. That is one technique. So we have catchy or persist. Whenever we use same data frame multiple times for downstreams, we can keep it in catchy or persist. So we have one more technique. Uh, choosing Parquet files instead of traditional files like CSV, JSON, any text files. So choosing reduce by key instead of group by key. So actually, reduce by key will give better performance compared to group by key because it will combine the data first at each partition and group the data. So in configuration also we can improve choosing Creo serialization. So Creo has less memory footprint compared to Java serialization. So uh, which becomes faster when we are shuffling and catching large amount of data. And by using Catalyst Optimizer, so it will regenerate to create the most optimized physical and logical execution plans. So it will give efficient results. So we need to follow some standards here. So whenever we use any functions like string functions, date functions, try to avoid user defined functions. So better we can choose inbuilt functions instead of choosing UDFs. That is one thing. So whenever we write few queries, so better whenever it is not required, we can avoid few things. Those are wide transformations like uh, if it is not necessary, we can avoid group by, distinct, order by. So it will, those are wide transformations. It will reduce the performance. So whenever it is not necessary, we can avoid them.
Okay. Can you please share your screen?
Sure.
Yeah. Can you please write word count program using RDDs?
Okay.
Input text file, you have data in a text file. What you have to do is you have to read text file and write word count program.
Input is text to file. Okay. Question is right.
You have to read that text file and write word count program.
Okay. Right. For the ground program. RDDs. Okay. So output will be generated like this actually. So output will be key value pairs. So Krishna is repeated three times. If it is repeated in three times, it will give three. If it is repeated in four times, it will give four. So how many times are repeated this word? We get the output like this, like key
Can you
value
please
pair.
explain the whole program what you have written?
Okay, so very first I have imported the code, imported this one, Spark session. So after that, I have created Spark session here. So by using this syntax, so it is used to create the Spark session. So because it is entry point for all Spark jobs. So on top of Spark session, I used Spark context because I need to communicate, I need to write RDDs. So and I have used a text file method. It is used to get the data from file. So I am reading the file. I have a text file in HDFS. I am reading from this text file to RDDs. Here we have raw RDD file. So on top of RDD file, I have written this logic to to write word count program. So I have used a flat map here to flatten the data. So after splitting, so now I have created word count. So here we get the word and count. So for each word we get 1 1 1 like this. After that, I am applying group by logic here. Suppose Krishna Prasad is repeated three times. I need to apply group by on Krishna. So that's why we get three count here instead of 1 1 1. So
Okay.
finally, I am collecting the data here to print. So this is the action. These are transformations.
Okay. Okay. I will give you another scenario. I
Okay.
have a CSV file which has three columns: ID, full name, salary. Have you got it? I have CSV file which
Okay.
has three columns: ID, full name,
Okay.
salary. I want you to create new columns from full name column to first name and last name. Please write sample code on this.
First name,
Last name. New
last
columns
name.
from the full name. First name and last name.
Okay. So we have CSV file. Uh, in this CSV file, we have three columns. That is ID, full name, and salary. So from
Yes.
these columns, we need to generate these four columns. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Here I have written the logic. So for the question which you have asked. So finally, it will generate these columns. So ID, first name and last name and salary. Varshini, can you hear me? I think are you talking
Hello,
on mute?
Surendra. Surendra, can you hear me?
Yes.
There is a slight disturbance from your side. I'm unable to hear you properly.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, this is loud and very good. Okay, could you please explain that?
Okay. Very first I have written import statements. After that I have created Spark session here. This is the syntax to create Spark session. On top of session, by using this logic like spark.read.csv, which will read CSV file from file to data frame. It is used to create data frames. Okay, one minor change is required. Header equals to true. That means if the CSV file is having this header, it will treat like a header. Else, if you don't mention this one, it will treat like a data instead of header. So
Okay,
here I am creating data frame. So after that, you have asked me to split the data from full name to first name and last name. So here
yes,
I have written the logic here. So I am splitting from 0th index. I am considering it is first name. From first index, I am taking like a last name. So finally, I am writing the columns in one order. So ID, first name, last name, and salary. So here is the output.
okay, okay. Uh, Coming to SQL, how much you rate yourself in SQL?
SQL 3.5 I can give.
Okay. What is the difference between where and having clause?
Where class is used to apply filter condition on regular columns like table columns. But having we can use to apply filter condition on regular columns as well as aggregate columns.
Okay, okay. Can you please write a query to identify the duplicates?
Okay. Need to write a query to identify duplicates. Okay.
Duplicates.
Suppose we have a column. Can I take above column? Same.
Yeah, okay.
So table is having three columns. If we have any duplicates, I will find out. So here I have written the logic to
Okay.
identify duplicates.
Now explain.
So here we have three columns I have just mentioned here. So with this combination, how many record counts we have? If we have duplicates, right? So it will give two. If we have triplicates, it will give three.
Okay,
So from this input table, I have taken one sample input table. So whenever we use this aggregate function, we must mention remaining columns in group by condition. So after
okay,
that, if we want to find filter condition, So on top of aggregate columns, we have to use having class instead of where class.
Okay. Okay, there is another scenario. Can you please write a query to find fifth highest salary for each department in a company?
Uh, Find fifth highest salary.
For each department.
Okay. In SQL, right?
Yes.
Here I have written the query to find fifth highest salary from each department.
Okay, explain.
Okay, first I have written subquery. So here for each department we are finding the maximum salaries. So in descending order I have written, if it is a maximum salary it will give 1, if it is second maximum salary it will give 2 here in this column. If it is fifth maximum salary it will give 5 like this. So on top of this subquery I have written parent query here. So in where condition, if it is D underscore rank, here I have generated that column. So if it is 5 means fifth highest salary. If it is 6 means sixth highest salary. So in where condition, just I have taken only 5. That means it will give fifth highest salary. So here I
Okay.
have mentioned like a department, because when you asked me to take a department wise.
Okay. Okay. In the similar scenario, we have employee table. Table has employee ID, name, salary, and manager ID. Can you please write a query to find whose salary is greater than the manager's salary? Have you got
Em,
it? Shall I repeat?
Employee ID, name, salary.
Yeah, we have employee table and it has employee ID, name, salary, and manager ID.
Okay.
Please write a query to find whose salary is greater than manager's salary.
Greater than manager's salary. Okay. Mm. think this will give the results.
Yeah. What you have written? Please elaborate line by line.
So we have only one table. So here employee table. So if I have given four columns, so the question is like write a query to find whose salary is greater than manager's salary. So the answer is I have applied self join here. I have taken different alias employee and manager. So employees manager equals to manager's employee ID. I am based on this condition. I am comparing employee salary and their manager's salary. So if it is employee salary is greater than their manager's salary, we are finding those records, those employee names.
Okay. Okay. Write a query to find mismatched records between two tables.
Mismatch records between two tables. Okay. So suppose I am taking these columns again. Um, select star from table one. Mm, So we have left anti-join here. So if we apply left anti-join, actually it is used to get mismatched records between two tables. Suppose table 1 is having 10 records, table 2 is having 7 records. So here we have three additional records when we compare between table 1 and table 2. So you asked me to find out these three records because these three are unmatched.
Okay.
So for that I have written the query by using left anti-join. So this is straightforward query.
Okay. Okay. Coming to Python, what is difference between list and dictionary?
Okay, both are mutable data sets. So list is having elements. So it follows indexing and it follows order as well. Uh, Coming to the dictionary, so it is also mutable elements, collection of elements. It has key value base. So uh, keys are unique only, and values can be any same numbers as well, not an issue. But keys should be unique.
Okay. We have a list and it has a few elements. Those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, comma 6. Have you noted?
I have a list. List is having 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5
5,
6
comma
6.
6, comma 6.
Okay.
Uh, can you please write a function to take input list and return only even numbers list?
Write a function to get only even numbers list. Okay.
Function to take both input list and return only even numbers.
Okay. Okay. To get. Okay. To get written only even number list. Okay.
Mm,
Can I use online compiler for this?
okay, everything is fine.
As you asked, we can see the output here. So it is returning only even numbers.
Yeah, explain it.
Yeah. So uh, here I have created function. So that is even function. So we are taking, yeah, input list. That is this one. So this list is having all elements that you have given. So after that, based on this list comprehension, I am taking each list here in this loop. After that, I have applied this condition. If it is divided with 0, so we are taking, else we are not taking. So that means only even list we get here. So after that, we are returning only even numbers. So finally, we get the results here.
Okay. Okay, in the same list, actually, we are having duplicate elements, right? So we need to take only distinct values from that list. Could you please code for this?
Okay, so just we need to remove
We need
duplicate
to remove
elements.
duplicate elements and we need to take only distinct values from that list.
Okay, okay. Yeah, now we can see the only distinct values here. So very first, I have created this function. It will take input list and it will return only distinct list. So for this, I have written the logic here. So by using for loop, I am taking each element in each iteration and I am checking with this distinct list. If we append the element already, we are not appending again. So only distinct elements will store in in this list. Finally, we are returning that list. So here we are collecting the list and I am printing. So same output we can see here.
Okay. Okay, Krishna Prasad. That's all from my side. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ashni. Nice talking to you.